Happy Saturday, April 21st, 2018. This past Thursday, my little bro turned 33, so happy birthday to my beer supplier for most of the beer frames. State tournament last weekend went okay. Scores are going to be down quite a bit, I would think, this year because both houses had their challenges, so to speak. So I need to adjust my perspective a little bit. They don't have any, I haven't seen any standings yet. But we'll see. I didn't do too bad. Anthony actually had the front 10 back 2 games of doubles, which they did singles and then doubles. A little odd, but so he barely edged me out on the 6-game combines, but we both should cash there pretty easily. The balls I used were pretty exclusively the IQ Tour Solid and the Idle all day, so the Idle really helped out a ton at the double and singles house. It was pretty wet and kind of flat-ish. I mean, it's kind of weird to bowl on a house shot and you get it outside 7 and it just doesn't do anything. It was kind of like a modified sport pattern or something. Or modified house, whatever you want to say. I actually had enough oil to use the Idle for a change, so that was nice. The first thing to announce is that our next beer frame live stream is going to be next Saturday, April 28th at 7 p.m. Central. I'll get it set up in YouTube so the notification will be there, but Anthony and I will be back to test out the new streaming computer. We've got a new computer to stream with for leagues, tournaments, stuff like that for my Patreon users, and then the rest might be able to go to more interesting locations for the beer frames instead of just being down here. Now that we got a laptop, instead of actually have to bring our home computer down here and hook all that nonsense up, we can actually do it like at a bowling alley. Try to see if we can do it at the brewery over there at my brother's place, because that's really nice. So we might be able to get mobile here. So let's see. Still going to try to answer every question, but we got a little bit backed up last time, so we're going to try to get through stuff a little quicker, so to speak. My brother has a few new pretty good beers out. He's got a cherry milkshake IPA that they can't keep in stock, so hopefully there's some left by the time next weekend gets here. If not, they've got plenty of other new stuff too. So they just got done with that cinnamon toast crunch stout too. I had that last night and that was just unreasonably good. So if you're ever in the area, again, it's Norseman Brewing Company, 830 North Kansas, Topeka, Kansas, not too far from I-70 if you're taking the highway through the area. So definitely want to stop and check that out if you have the opportunity. Next, I have another Stasher Pass coming. We're looking at the High Road Pearl and the Phase 2. I don't think either of these are in danger of being discontinued anytime soon, but there's a few interesting points to make nonetheless. Nevertheless, whatever the proper grammatical word is there. So definitely check that out when that makes it up. Hope you enjoyed the mailbag from yesterday. A little bit more serious, but I had some really solid questions to answer, so that was fun. No news as far as new releases yet, but there's a few rumors, stuff that's available overseas already, but hasn't shown up on the overseas list yet, so not sure what's coming next. I have a few theories. We need a new hybrid in the master line, so the Phase Frenzy, I don't know if that's an overseas ball or if that's just kind of released over there for right now, or what they're doing with that. But we also, despite the High Road being in the Thunder line, a hybrid Torrent would be nice because we're due for a hybrid. We haven't had a hybrid since the original Rocket in the Thunder line. If my memory served me correctly, they're still kind of backed up on production on the Ink and the Fused. I think they're getting caught up now, but those have been selling like crazy, so I'd be surprised if they launch anything new for another month or so. Plus, Roto usually has a big kind of release deal or several releases all at the same time during Bowl Expo, and that's in a couple months. So I'm looking for them to catch up production on all the stuff that's going crazy right now before they release anything else. I don't think that especially with league season kind of wrapping up, a lot of leagues ended this week, a lot of leagues ending next week. I don't think that there's any rush to pump new stuff out yet, especially when they're still backed up on production on the other stuff. So they really had a pretty crazy release schedule for a while there between November and like March. So I don't know if that was in response to the other companies' releases or what, but I know I'm kind of glad to have a break from the ball review game. It's just tons and tons of hours going to those, and it was a little overwhelming there for a while. So I'm about ready to make some ball reviews again. So I'm not going to make it to the sweeper day. I just didn't really feel like it. I've been bowling a lot of stuff recently and have a lot of more stuff coming up, so I decided to just take the weekend off. I'm also kind of coming to the conclusion that I don't just have the fire for that competition so much anymore. I was talking to the wife about it, and she made the point that I keep wanting to say, like, hey, I want to go to this tournament, or I want to do something, and then I get there and I get a couple games in, and then all of a sudden I'm bored. The team stuff is still fun, but it's kind of funny because it's all I wanted to do before, but as I worked in the industry, never really got the chance to do much. I had to try and live with it, so to speak. It was my expectation that you just kind of work hard and then eventually get your shot, or eventually you'll get somewhere, and that's just not the way the world works anymore. I mean, you've got to both work hard and you've got to put yourself in the middle of the action in specifically what you're trying to go for or what you want to do. You just got to get out there and do it. If you're going to do something, you've got to dump everything you have into just that thing. Now, I can't really recommend that if you weren't realistic or objective about yourself, kind of like those hilarious American Idol auditions where somebody walks in thinking they're Whitney Houston and they sound like a couple of cats fighting or something. Some people will spend their whole lives chasing after a dream that's not realistic or attainable. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean you can or you should. I would also not suggest doing something you love for a living, but some people do it and are fine with it. Kind of tends to suck all the fun out of it for most people, but I digress. Like I said, it's more just, for me, it's just the sweepers and the singles stuff. I really like bowling team competitions, but I suppose I just work so hard at accepting that would never really be something for me. I'd never go get to bowl big stuff or regionals, or even just get to go watch them or whatever, because I was always working. So I think it just kind of burned the desire out of me so I wouldn't be upset about having to miss stuff constantly. So I'll go to a sweeper or something because the idea sounds nice, like I said, but I'll get a couple games in and I'll be bored, and whether I'm doing well or not, it really doesn't even matter. It's just like I'm going through the motions because it's something I used to want, and it's not that I ever had delusions of grandeur or anything like that, but I just wanted to go for the experience. I just wanted to bowl. If anything happened while I was, anything happened, went the right way or whatever, cool, but I was always too busy working towards it and never actually said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I just like bowling, I just wanted to bowl, and that didn't really ever happen. So I didn't, I was always working while everybody else was out bowling. Now though, I'm glad I didn't chase after it. I'm glad I'm where I'm at, because after your competing days are over, then what comes after that? Maybe it would have morphed into kind of what I'm doing now, but maybe not. Who's to say? I think I'd have missed all the experience that I got doing what I did or going the direction I went. It doesn't mean I'm not still a little bitter about it, but that's just kind of my deal. I think I've always had success doing whatever I wanted to do because I'd dump everything I have into it. I'd be realistic and I'd be objective, and when I feel like I've mastered something or at least accomplished the goal that I set out to get, I just get bored and want to conquer something else. I suppose that's like I said, it's just kind of my thing, and that's why bowling lefty is fun. It's just something else to figure out. Now, I'm not really sure where I was going with all that, but it just came out, so I think that's where I'll cut this off for today. Remember, Beer Frame Live next week, April 28th, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Central. I may or may not have a podcast next week, but we'll see. But that's what I got for now, so thanks for watching.